Welcome to the NNBN podcast, talking with businesses, charities and organisations across Northamptonshire.
Sponsored by Poppy Design Studio. Find us at poppydesignstudio.com.
So she's been on the podcast at the end of last year, but I'm delighted to welcome back Milly Fyfe from No Fuss Meals for Busy Parents, CIC. So Milly, welcome back.
Thank you for having me, Simon. It's wonderful to be invited on again so soon.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. And, you know, we're here to help shout about some of those real positive news that's out there. And you've had some real positive news this week, haven't you? So do you want to tell us all about this positive news? And then we'll talk a little bit about what you're doing and why you've been selected at a national level. So, really excited to hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is incredible to think at the start of the year being shortlisted or being included in the top 100 female entrepreneurs with F Entrepreneur, which is a female business campaign, basically highlighting successful females in the business community. So, yeah, it's a national campaign and just to sort of kickstart the year, it's pretty incredible. So I can't quite believe it, actually. And having joined a Zoom call with all the other women selected from all over the country, from different walks of life and different types of businesses, I just know that I'm going to make so much of the opportunity, whether it's obviously the PR side of things, but also the connections and hopefully to strengthen my own business too.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Well done, because, when you get selected to, something at a national level, you're obviously doing something right. So, especially on the tail end of last year with the Food and Drink Awards, obviously the NNBN Awards as well. But, it's such a tremendous journey you're on. And I just think, well done. You thoroughly deserve this recognition as well. And I think the F Entrepreneur campaign is an amazing thing. I know it was launched, I think, about 2017 by Michelle Ovens, who I've met, and I think it's just been growing throughout the years. So to see someone recognised from Northamptonshire, fantastic, well done. To see someone recognised in your sector as well, of what you're actually representing, even better, because it's been tough for the sector, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it really has. No, thank you. I really appreciate all your bigging me up and all the support, because running your own small business as well, it can be quite isolating and lonely, and you think, oh God, why am I doing this? And you're spinning the plates, and I'm a parent with 2 young children, and supporting my husband on the farm. And last year obviously changed direction, so I was running a PR and marketing business, and now I'm sort of changed direction to build up the community interest company. And it has been tough, and still cash flow is pretty tight at the moment, but I just can feel I've got a lot of irons in the fire at the moment, and I'm on a sort of direction of travel, and it's really exciting. And I'm just sort of just going with it, really, and all the sort of positivity around it is really helping with my own mindset, and actually thinking, I might not have much money coming in at the moment, but I know that actually the way that my business is developing as the community interest company grows, I'm already putting plans in place to build a kitchen workshop on the farm. That's sort of what is my big work or big project for this year, is actually to create an actual space where I can dedicate it to content creation, but also that I can invite people to have their own experience with me, where I sort of teach them about scratch cooking. We're going to do sort of grow, cook, eat, where we go out in the garden and sort of pick produce and then bring it into the kitchen and cook it. And also, obviously, being on a working farm, we've got a lot of livestock and a lot of arable crops as well. So it's going to be sort of fully immersive, as well as bringing other people that I know that can offer different courses as well. So butchery, wine tasting. We might do some sort of more arts and craft type stuff as well, and sort of wellbeing days. So for me, that's where I'm going, and that's what I'm planning on doing this year. So to then have this sort of accolade over over the top, as well as all the awards that, as you mentioned earlier in your intro. Yeah, life is pretty exciting. So I'm just sort of just trying to take it in my stride, because again, it's just me. I do obviously pull on other people to help me with like my own podcast editing, and just sort of helping with my website, and other sole traders and what have you. But yeah, it's a lot when I'm only actually working school hours. So although, well, Simon, as well, you're always kind of working, because you always got your phone in your pocket, haven't you? And if you're not answering a phone call while you're trying to make the dinner, or you're doing the school run and you're on a call while you're walking down to pick the kids up, then you're just constantly spinning the plates, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember when I first started out, actually in 2009, when Twitter, Twitter was on the growth and things like that. And I used to pre-program a load of tweets to go out specifically around the school collection time, so that I could actually stand in the playground and actually engage with people on Twitter in the playground while I was waiting for my children to come out of school. Because you've got to market your business, you've got to market your brand, you've got to market yourself while you're obviously juggling life. And people don't see that side of entrepreneurship, do they? They see literally all the positives. They never see what goes on below the surface. And there's a great there's a great graphic I've seen all over social media of an iceberg, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, where you see all the positives above the water, but everything below the surface is pain, it's problem, it's challenge, it's finance, it's frustration. And yet we all are here. We all get up the next morning, we all crack on with the day. And there was a quote, and I wish I could remember it. I'll try and Google it in a second while we're talking. But there was a quote I only saw this morning, something that said about, it's okay to have short-term gain, but it's the long term that we have to think about, or something along those lines, because it is challenging, as you say. And that's why things like the F Entrepreneur recognition, the awards last year, are so important for small businesses, because it gives you that boost. And, as I said, I'm absolutely fully behind what you're doing. I think it's fantastic that you've achieved or opened this year with another exciting announcement to make.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that's it. And you're totally right. You have to look a long way ahead. But that's what I'm sort of looking at the moment with the CIC. It's looking at that long-term financial stability. And at the moment, being self-employed and trying to kind of not live from month to month thinking, well, where's my income coming in from next? It's kind of like getting a little bit of passive income, or just kind of just making life a little bit more comfortable. And I know exactly the picture that you're describing with the iceberg, because it is so true. And I mean, since having the children, I've had a lot of problems with my own health, and I've kind of partly ploughed in a lot of energy into my business, because being busy helps me not to dwell on being, living in chronic pain, which is what I experience on a day-to-day level. But actually it is all those kind of decisions, and you kind of go into new projects and investments and business collaborations and things like that, and you don't know what's going to happen, do you? And that's I think sometimes the exciting thing about life, but also the kind of challenging thing as well. I think sometimes it can be very easy to be in more of an employed type role, where you've got your holiday and your sick pay, and you got your regular income coming in every month. But for me, I find that really stifling, because I've worked in employed roles before, and I've loved it. But actually, I'm such a creative person that when I've been wanting to kind of grow within a role, or go for a promotion or something like that, I've always been sort of knocked back down. And I kind of think, oh God, well, I'm always someone that, I'm kind of like make my own rules, or my life motto as well is dare to be different. And so I love being in control of my own destiny, which is great fun, but it is also it's kind of an up and down journey all the time. And being someone who is so highly motivated and driven like myself, it's also quite exhausting, but it's great. And it's nice being involved with a network such as yourself, Simon, with NNBN, and the Northamptonshire business community is something that I am hoping to get more involved with over the next 12 months and beyond, because actually, I suppose working within agriculture, I have probably been sort of more out and about at the agricultural type shows and conferences and things. And for me, especially with a community interest company, is looking at communicating more with businesses, with consumers at the end of the day, because that is what the CIC is set out to achieve. So, First Meals for Busy Parents, which was originally a food blog that I created during the pandemic, and it's grown and grown and grown. And now I basically provide connection between food produced in the UK and recipe ideas and seasonal ingredient suggestions. So I'm interviewing farmers about what they grow and produce, and I am putting together recipe tutorials and videos to help people cook from scratch. So it is more about, bringing those two groups of people together in supporting the community. So, all these types of networking events, finding out what grants are available, what opportunities and things like that. It's really exciting, and I'm always a yes person. But I'm now trying to, use my time wisely, I guess, because I am time poor.
Yeah, I think that comes with the yes person thing. I think because I'm always like, yep, let's give it a go and see where it takes me. And all of a sudden you think, oh no, I've got so much to do. Why have I just said yes? And I'm big enough and ugly enough as well to hold my hand up and say, look, I wanted to get involved. I thought this was going to be able to get further involved, but I've just realised actually I've made a mistake, and I think that takes big bold courage to say things like that. And actually, while we've been talking, I've been googling for the iceberg graphic, and when I look at some of the words actually underneath the surface that we've been talking about, when it says what people see as the success of the iceberg and all those negatives under the surface, the failure, the setbacks, the naysayers, the doubts, the hard work, sacrifices, risks, courage, action. I mean, that's just a few of those words. That's without the vision, the dreams, the late nights. And I think for me, when I came into our own business in 2009, I think I was the happiest I've ever been with the least amount of money coming in, because like yourself, you've got the flexibility. I knew I had no holiday form to fill out apart from, just to make sure I was, talking to clients if I wanted to go and see the children in school concerts and things.
Yeah.
But when I look at it now, I could have missed out a hell of a lot on my own children. And now I look at them, they're growing up, finding their own way in life and growing their own wings. And I think entrepreneurship can really help really grow you. Well, it does help grow you without a doubt. It forces you sometimes to actually grow, I think, sometimes. And that's why we're so pro what we're doing. It's great to see what you're doing. When I saw this announcement this week, I was like, Milly, we got to get you back on the podcast. we need to talk about this, because I just love seeing people going on the journey, and I think fantastic what you've achieved, and it's brilliant to do it. So well done. But let's just talk briefly about the food and the food and farming sector. I mean, how is it from the people that you talk to on your podcast? What's their sort of feeling since the pandemic's changed the world, and has it interrupted the sector much? Because we hear a lot about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, post Brexit as well.
Yeah, of course.
It's, that's been huge for the agricultural industry, because the whole way that subsidies payments they're being phased out, and actually the sort of level of bureaucracy within UK government is such a challenge to kind of wade through. And as the farming industry are being weaned off the single farm payment, in effect, there's all different types of payments now that farmers can apply for in terms of environmental payments, which in some sense is kind of what we've already been doing anyway. So I'm kind of talking as someone who knows a lot of farmers, but actually is a farmer too, because we're farming here in Yalvertoft as well. So but talking, as well, obviously we're always at the mercy of the weather. It's been incredibly wet at the moment, and we just need a really cold, dry patch now so that everything dries up. We've got most of our crops established last year, but we've still got some beans to drill, and we'll be lambing middle of March, end of March, beginning of April. So we've got 300 sheep to lamb, which takes sort of 6 weeks. We kind of dedicate that sort of time for them. We don't really have much in the way of help in that sense. But during the pandemic, a lot of people were more aware of what food was available to them and in season, because we didn't have all of the restaurants open and the pubs and things like that. So there was a rise in scratch cooking and going to farm shops and local producers and things like that. And so I think that has really helped in terms of why buy British, why shop locally, sustain rural economies and things like that. But actually, we are also creatures of habit and the convenience side of food, in the sense that you don't have to get off your sofa because you've got an app that can order food and it can arrive. And to be perfectly honest, you don't know what the provenance of that food is. It's some kind of fast food, quick fix type food. And again, it's quite sad as well that lots of children do not know where their food comes from, because it is delivered by your Tesco or your supermarket shop every week. It's not even that children even go into a supermarket anymore, so they don't even get that kind of immersive experience. So there's quite a big exercise. Well, there's huge challenges that the agricultural industry, in terms of like that kind of brand British and shop locally, buy locally, and all the different kind of environmental pressures as well, with people looking more about the inputs into agriculture and chemicals and efficiencies as well. So there are a lot of things on people's shoulders, and it's no secret that actually within agriculture we have the highest rate in suicide, mental health challenges and things like that, because whilst, like we've just bigged up and said about entrepreneurship and being your own business and what have you, the different levels of bureaucracy and the paperwork and the legislation that goes into running an agricultural type business is huge, and there's less and less people within agriculture because of the mechanization. And you're on your own a lot of the time, and you don't get to see very many people. And then when you've got a bit of a problem, or whether or not you've got a fallout in the family, or debt issues, whatever it is, or an accident or an injury or illness, whatever it is. And actually, I used to work for a farming charity, so I kind of see the hardships as well. So I think that's partly where my motivation comes for the community interest company, really, because I've seen the hardships within agriculture and I've experienced them for myself, but also as a mum growing my own food and sharing it on social media and being a bit of a dab hand in editing videos and PR and that side of things. It's now bringing all my kind of skills, knowledge, expertise together and trying to do good on behalf of the industry. So I'm hoping that I can continue on this direction of travel, really, in order to help more people and shout about why food produced in this country is so great.
Yeah, brilliant. I've just been looking at your website, actually. I've been listening to you, and some great recipes on there. And there's a giant pig in blanket, and I love my pigs in blankets. I've got to look more into this. But I've just been looking at it. Obviously, we just come out of the Christmas period, and Father Christmas, chocolate cheesecake. There's some fantastic recipes on here. So but you're right. I think there is too much processed food out there, and younger generation are missing out on core skills. I remember cooking when I was, a young child growing up with my mum. She taught me how to cook sponge cakes and mince and things, and a lot of that probably doesn't happen these days. So I'm really glad that you're putting this out there for the younger generation to spend time with grandparents and parents to actually learn about what it's like to create food and meals, because it's important.
Yeah, well, they are life skills, and like you say, there's a generation that have not had access to food education, home economics, and because we live in much more of a convenience lifestyle now, people have forgotten how to cook, or we're too busy, or the perception is, oh, well, I'm too busy, and it's quick shove something in the oven, or just ring up the takeaway or what have you. And That's okay every now and again. But actually, especially in a cost of living crisis as well, looking at producing a meal from scratch is actually quite cost effective, and using some simple ingredients as well, bulk buying and then cooking in batch. I've started as well, like posting little bits on social media with some meal planning as well, sort of what I'm cooking from day to day. And actually it helps me as well, because then I get in the kind of mindset of, right, what do I need to get out of the freezer in the morning? And then if I'm sharing inspiration with others, and they might think, oh, I haven't cooked that for ages, or, oh, while I'm out and about, I could quickly nip to the butcher's and buy some mince or some chicken breasts or whatever it is. So it's it for me, it's about empowerment. It's about not kind of shaming people either. It's actually just giving them the confidence that they can cook from scratch, using simple ingredients. It's not going to be expensive. And I'm not for 1 minute saying that you need to jump down the farm shop and do your whole food shop in that, because I know that that's not accessible for a lot of people, and I don't do that. But if there's a few hero ingredients, or again, like popping down to the deli or somewhere, we've got so many wonderful local businesses that are producing amazing food, and Made in Northamptonshire do a great job in terms of highlighting all of those different businesses and producers. So that there's amazing things just on our doorstep, and it's again just highlighting who they are and the work that they do. And then if it's a special occasion, or you're trying to cook something, that you perhaps consider using that too.
Yeah, and I think you've just summed up why you've been selected in this top 100 for 2024 or 2023. Is it 2023 or 2024?
2024, yes, it's just kicked off now.
So you've been selected for this year, and I can see why, because obviously your passion comes across in what you do, what you're delivering, and what you've created. But also, I think you're doing something which is you're taking people back to how things were many years ago, before the chaos of life has erupted with a lot of the speed that we live at these days. And also it's about teaching the younger generation those core skills as well. So hopefully it continues to grow for you this year. I'm really, looking forward to following your progress. And your website, do you want to give your website out so that people can actually have a look at these fantastic recipes that I've been looking at as we've been talking? So yeah,
which one are you going to do now? Which one are you going to cook first? That's what I want to know.
Well, without a doubt, the pig in blanket. I mean, I don't need to go any further than that one at the moment, because I'm just looking at it going, I need that pig in blanket. It's just there.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. No, so my website is www.nofussmeals4busyparents.com, and also on Instagram, Facebook, and I've got a LinkedIn page that I just started as well. So I could say that actually I'm founder on my LinkedIn profile. So then I thought, I better start posting on there too. So yeah, and I've also got a YouTube channel, which is Milly Fyfe Official, which I've started posting bits and pieces on as well. That links into my podcast, which is called The Countryside Kitchen Meets. So I've got various guests on there that I interview, mainly farmers, foodies. And I'm now getting into the realms of interviewing celebrities, Simon, which I'm really excited about. But actually, what really floats my boat is actually just get into the heart of like grassroots farmers as well, because they've got so many stories to that I want other people to learn and listen and appreciate as well, because then they're never, they're out there working hard every day of the year, because farming is a 365 job. And I've got so much respect for farmers in the farming community that hopefully I am one of them too, and I just want to do my bit, as it were. So thank you for all your support.
No, absolutely no problem at all. And you know what I'm going to ask you now? I've got to know. Come on, who's the celebrities? Or are you not allowed to say yet? Or is it still in production?
No, absolutely. No. So I interviewed Jimmy Doherty from Jimmy's Farm.
Okay.
And Chris Bavin, who is BBC Eat Well for Less. So I've interviewed him. I have interviewed Lady Manners, who is Violet Manners from Belvoir Castle, one of the Duchess of Rutland's daughters. I have just interviewed, he goes as the Ninja Gardener, but Lee Burkhill, he's one of the gardeners with Charlie Dimmock on Garden Rescue.
Yep.
And then only yesterday, I interviewed Raymond Blanc's son, Olivier. So
wow.
I'm actually friends with Olivier. So and he's invited me as his special guest to Les Manoirs in the summer. So because they obviously have a cookery school as well as a garden and restaurant and hotel accommodation. So although my little cookery school is not going to be as grand, let's say, but I'm sure there'll be a few sort of take home nuggets of information that I'm going to be able to apply to my own business in the future. So I'm networking and rubbing shoulders with the great and the good, literally.
Well, fantastic. Well done, you. Keep it up as well. Keep us up to date with what your progress and what you're doing as well. And of course, you know, we wish you every success for this year. But Milly, thanks for joining us, and congratulations once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Simon. I really appreciate it.
Woo!